On this edition of Flightline News, seen a new Cessna lately? Well, you're about to. Find out when some new birds joined the fleet. And a new quieter muffler was installed, but will they stay? Find out why they may be gone. Details coming up. Flightline News starts right now. Hello and welcome to the first edition of Flightline News. I'm Bob Thomas. We begin today with the purpose of why we created the Flightline News. The idea came from the chairman of the flight department, Ken Burns, as a way to help improve communication throughout the department.
In any organization, communication is the most important part. In the flight department, we have many different ways we communicate, sometimes too many different ways. We do it through email, we do it through ETA pop-ups, or through FIFs, and we decided that it would be really good to do it through more of a multimedia-based system. So our plan now is to do these news reports about every other week throughout the main semesters during the normal academic year. That way, hopefully it'll be a bit more interactive, a bit more entertaining. You'll see our faces, you'll be able to relate faces with names, and you'll get a good idea as to what's going on in the flight department and what's going to happen in the flight department so that you're more informed.
Our first story is an update on when we will be getting a new paint scheme and new aircraft for our training fleet. Our first brand new Cessna 172, making a fleet total of 42 Cessnas overall, arrived on September 28th. Although it doesn't have the new paint scheme yet, it does have a few new features. One cool feature is a different back seat. There's only one seat in the middle that will provide a better view for observers to see what's going on in the front of the airplane.
There'll be one seat in the middle, and that is really good for observing. So it's between the two front seats, and you're able to see everything that's going on the flight decks.
The new Cessna also features LED landing lights on each wing. 9 new Cessna 172s will be ordered and due to arrive in the summer as part of a regular cycling out of the fleet to replace 9 older Cessnas. We're scheduled to get 31 more Cessnas over the next 2 years.
The features will be virtually the same. We are planning on going with the 3-seat Cessna. It will have different lights on it, landing lights on it, and be a newer model, of course. So newer, cleaner aircraft are always good to have.
The paint schemes will be changed for all these new aircraft to one that will be the same for both the Daytona and Prescott campuses. A survey went out to all students, instructors, and alumni, and 1,500 responses received will help decide the new look of the paint scheme. The final scheme choice is scheduled to be announced around winter break. With an average of over 250 flights a day, Embry-Riddle has always taken drastic steps to be a good neighbor and reduce noise in the community, like publishing specific noise abatement procedures for all ERAU pilots to follow. Taking it one step further, for the past year, the flight department has been testing new technology to reduce noise, including different types of mufflers. The Gemulzig muffler was selected and installed across the fleet. Not immediately, but occasionally, some aircraft were having problems developing full static RPM.
There were some issues cropping up, and it was basically we began troubleshooting it, and the net result was that the muffler actually increases the efficiency of the engine, so much so that it doesn't need as much fuel to run efficiently. The loss of power was caused by too much fuel in the cylinder and basically getting the spark plugs wet, fouling the spark plugs. So we've decided to remove all of these mufflers that we put on while we figure out how to make the settings appropriately so that we can enjoy the reduced sound by the mufflers.
This is about a 2.5 to 3 hour process, which includes bringing the aircraft into the hangar, removing the cowling, and replacing the mufflers. Along with this is a lot of paperwork that must be accomplished. That includes the FAA Form 337, logbook entry, work order, change in the weight and balance, and make changes in the POH.
Once the change is completed, the aircraft is run up, tested, and put back out on the line. The flight department is also looking into a different type of propeller, and when combined with this new muffler, reduces the sound of the Cessna 172 by 12 decibels. You may have already noticed some upgrades to the flight training devices, or FTDs, with the loading of the latest G1000 software several months ago, but more upgrades have been implemented. Some of the new features of the FTDs are the ability to be more realistic, which allows live ADS-B data on the MFD, and any traffic that appears on the MFD will also be visible on the visual scene.
The studies that have shown that students are deficient in ATC communications with the increased use in simulation. And we've taken a proactive approach as a university, and we are the first to install voice recognition software, ATC software, in a flight training device. So again, we're leading the way. These are excellent improvements. They're great devices, and it's a great platform to do training in. And we're going to continue to update and upgrade these devices and make them more and more real as time goes on.
After a long process of FAA approval completed this summer, electronic flight bags are finally here, and the Apple iPad is the only approved device. ERAU has worked with the creators of the app ForeFlight not to just give current charts, but also to ensure that students have the latest updates in ERAU documents. Embry-Riddle has also secured a discount on the app for the students. More information on ForeFlight and electronic flight bags can be found on page 125 in your flight operations manual. As of right now, there is no requirement for students to purchase an iPad, but that may change in the future. As major airlines continue to move towards the use of electronic flight bags, Embry-Riddle may see the need to require students to purchase and use an iPad in their training to keep up with industry standards. The Wings and Wave Air Show is coming back to Daytona Beach on October 13th and 14th. The show begins at 11 a.m. daily on the shore in front of the Hilton Daytona Beach Oceanfront Resort. The event is the only air show in North America to host 3 jet demonstration teams, and is free and open to the public. The show will feature acts like the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, the Canadian Snowbirds, the Black Diamond Jet Team, and Embry-Riddle-sponsored aerobatic performer Matt Chapman, and many more. The air show may impact your flight training. Every time the air show acts are practicing or performing, there will be a 5 nautical mile TFR in place that will cover the Daytona Beach Airport. Please be sure to check your FIFs and NOTAMs before you go flying in the local area, and use caution for other transient aircraft that may not be familiar with our procedures. The same weekend as the air show will be a Carnival, yes, I said Carnival, in the parking lot next to the Simulation Center, complete with a Ferris wheel and other festive events. On Wednesday, October 11th, ERAU will be holding an upset training forum in the Q hangar, given by aerobatic pilots Matt Chapman, Mike Goulian, and Rob Holland, where they'll be discussing the importance of upset training. There will even be a raffle for some great prizes.
Matt Chapman will be introducing his new scholarship program for our upset recovery course. At the same time, we'll be offering some exciting door prizes, including the grand prize, an aerobatic flight in our decathlon with Matt Chapman at the flight controls.
Having trouble with landings or just want some free practice? Well, the flight department is here to help. Training manager Joey Waxwell has some exciting news about a new program aimed to help you.
On Saturdays, the flight department will be offering free simulator sessions to our private pilot students. These sims will happen in both our Redbird Crosswind trainer and our G1000 FTD. The goal is to help as many students as possible with their landings. Instructors will be available every Saturday, and sign-up sheets will be available on my office door.
For more information, see Joey Maxwell in the Flight Operations Building, room 213 Bravo, or call him at 386-226-6826. And now it's time for this week's message from the Chief Flight Instructor, Ivan Grau.
First, I'd like to congratulate Ross DeRoche for receiving the Instructor Pilot Award for the month, for doing a great job. Second thing I'd like to talk to you about, I have seen many students come and go through the years, and I have seen many instructors come and go throughout the years, but one thing that have never left us is our culture of doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. That is something that we take very serious, that is something that we take pride on, and that is something that we live by. Thank you. Fly safe.
Next time on Flightline News, the National Intercollegiate Flying Association regional competition will be hosted at Embry-Riddle in late October. We'll tell you how it'll affect your flight training. And a new taxiway will be constructed at the Daytona Beach Airport. There will be a Yankee in the South after all. All this and more on the next episode of Flightline News. If you'd like to send us your comments or suggestions or future story ideas, send us an email at specialvfr@erau.edu. That concludes this episode of the Flightline News. I'm Bob Thomas. Thanks for watching.